Hi there. Good to see you. So I heard that you were in the market for a new companion, which is perfect because I have quite the assortment of little guys that I think you would find very interesting. I have a few. I lost count of how many I have. I run this little guy sanctuary, so I've kind of lost track of how many little guys I have. But I have a few that I think you specifically might find pretty interesting. Okay, so shall we get started? Okay, so first of all, this is Clara. She's a raccoon, mother of 5. But her kids ran away a long time ago, so you won't need to worry about that. We found her 2 years ago. She lived in a tree right outside my office, and she decided that it would be a good idea to smash in my windows and mess up all the papers in my office. So she served as an accountant for 1 year, but eventually decided that she would rather just find a new family after her kids ran away. So this is Clara. She is 4 years old. She likes eating onions, but just raw onions. She doesn't like cooked onions. She really hates caramelized onions, so keep that in mind. What else? She preferred to live outside. Like, if you just so happen to have like a tree with a hole in it, that would be ideal. She doesn't do great in like household environments. She kind of peed all over my couch, so that was a bit of an issue. You're gonna think about it? Okay, perfect. Alright, this is Gregory. He is a banana slug. So Gregory has a very interesting story. So Gregory latched onto someone's semi-truck when he was still living in Oregon, and he rode all the way here, so well over thousands of miles, and he ended up at my sanctuary when he found out he was in the wrong environment for a banana slug. So I took him in, and he's been thriving ever since. He's been at the sanctuary for 2 months. So some of Gregory's little quirks. He will only listen to Louis Armstrong. What a Wonderful World is his favorite song. If you put anything else on, he will start crying. But other than that, he's pretty low maintenance. You know, he's a slug. Alright, you're gonna think about this one too? Okay, perfect. Alright, this is Tyler. So Tyler is a mushroom, yes, but he's a mushroom baby. So this is what happens when a mushroom transforms into one of these little baby things. It doesn't happen very often, but when they do, they just kind of have to go out into their own into the wild. I found him when I was doing a hike in the area, and he grabbed onto my leg and would not let go. I mean, would not let go. I had to wear him the rest of the hike until he eventually ended up back at the sanctuary. So he is 4.5 years old. So one thing you gotta know about him is he prefers dark spaces. He doesn't really like direct sunlight. He'll start screaming, trust me, and he will not stop screaming for hours if he is in sunlight. So preferably if you have like a basement or just somewhere that's kind of like wet and like dark, you might want to think about putting him there. Yeah, okay, you'll think about this one too? Okay, perfect. Alright, this is Deborah. So Deborah, we thought she was dead. But you know, she's a possum, so one of my associates kind of poked around and she wasn't dead. And then they followed my associate back to the sanctuary. So she is one of our older residents. She is about 3, which is fairly old for a possum. But she used to live in the woods around the town. I don't know, but she much prefers the indoors nowadays. She likes bananas. She's a big fan of fresh fruits. And we don't know how she found out about, we don't know how she found out how to read, but she can. She's a big Jane Austen fan, so keep that in mind for entertainment. It's not like a requirement, but it's just something I think you'd like to know. Okay, think about this one too. Yeah, it's good that you're thinking about these. It's good that you're thinking about giving all these creatures a home. I like that. I'm proud of you. Alright, and before you ask, no, he's not dead. That's just his face. Trust me, I get that a lot too. He is a skull bat, so he's got this interesting marking on his face. So he also lived in a cave, like just outside the woods, outside the sanctuary. Because where we live, we're surrounded by a lot of woods and caves. So we found him in a cave. He also kind of flew into the window that Clara smashed. So that was a whole thing. He actually smashed more windows after that because he thought it would be fun. But it was a bit of a mess, but we ended up cleaning it up anyways. Once again, this is another guy who much prefers like sort of like dark and cold areas because, you know, he grew up in a cave. So if you have another space like that, once again, I recommend putting him there. As for diet, I don't, he's much more of a fan of like insects. So if you have any spare insects or any spare crickets or anything like that, you could possibly just pass it to him. He makes for good pest control, trust me. That was his job for like several months. Alright, you gonna think about this one? Okay, I got you. Alright, this is Tyrone. He is a moth child. I don't know if you've heard of Mothman, but it is the same species. I found him when I was hiking out in West Virginia. Don't ask me how I ended up there. I was doing field research. And I found him on a bridge. They say it was the Mothman's bridge, so that makes sense. But he had both broken wings. Both of his wings were broken. So I decided to take him back with me so we could get some veterinary work done. If you're more of a night person, I would recommend this too, because he's not going to be awake during the day. He's going to be awake from around sunset to sunrise. So I would say that if you're somebody who prefers to stay up late, this would be a lot more of a convenient pet for you to have. Okay, you thinking about this one too? Perfect. Alright. And last but not least, we have Boris. Now, Boris is a forest troll. He's still a baby. He's only a couple of days old. We found him literally yesterday. And so we don't know where his mother went. We assume he's just kind of abandoned. But he's very small, as you can see. Very, very, very small. Fits right in the palm of your hand. But that can make it a really convenient, like, companion for you if you're not in the market for like a companion that's like too big, if you prefer something a little more low maintenance. I will say he is still only a couple days old, so he is being bottle fed. But we have several guides written down, a couple of little pamphlets that you can take with you on taking care of a baby troll. Okay. Alright, so now that we're done, we're gonna do a quick review. So we got the baby troll, the baby Mothman, got the skull bat, we have the mushroom baby, we have the possum, got the banana slug, and last but not least we have the raccoon. So which one do you prefer? Interesting. Okay, so before you head out today, we're gonna hand you a little pamphlet. We're gonna send you an email, so go ahead and put that in on the little kiosk in the office, in the waiting area. There's going to be a couple forms for you to fill out. It shouldn't be too long, it's only a couple pages, but other than that, give you, once you've signed all the papers and you've been given all the necessary pamphlets and permits, you're free to go. And your companion is all yours to be your friend. Sounds good. Okay, well, I will see you later. Alright, and it's okay if you want to come back too. There will always be rescues here at the sanctuary. Okay, perfect. I will see you later. Bye.